Hey everyone, this is Mayan Gordon. We are back live at 5, a little after 5, because sometimes you have awesome Zoom meetings and they run past when you schedule them for. And when you got the extra time, you put it in because that is what really bringing value to different relationships is all about. It's saying, you know what, I've allotted this amount of time, but I want to invest more of my time into you, into this relationship, because I'm getting a lot out of it too. I enjoy your connection. I enjoy your energy. I enjoy talking with you and your ideas and your creativity. And this is something that has been so abundant in my life over this past year, but especially in the past month, where almost every single person I am talking to on a Zoom call, I'm like, man, this person is amazing. Where has this person been all my life? How can I bring value to them? I could talk to them for hours and hours. And of course, we have busy lives and lots of things to do. But having that feeling of, wow, what a cool person. What a cool thing that we just connected. What an awesome synergy we had is something that can make you feel so excited, so motivated, so empowered to achieve all of the things that are on your list of to-do things, all of the things on your plate, all of the things that make your cup feel full. What is going on, Matt? Hey, yes, thank you. You finally get to catch an episode live. How's it going? I guess that brings me to the point. If you're watching this right now, I'd love for you to do the huge, which is go ahead and comment what's one thing that you're grateful for today and where in the world are you watching from? Where are you coming to us from? Matt Crump and then also Matthew S. We got two Matts in the house, always exciting. And I really want to share a bit of value today. And there's all these different areas in my life that I experience things and feel like, ooh, there's a nugget of information. There's a nugget of insight that I just had that I want to share with people. I want other people to know about this thing that I just realized almost as an epiphany, right? As we're getting into what I call the zone or into a state of flow or into our peak energy state, we start to realize all these things that maybe we knew, maybe they were in the back of our consciousness, the back of our brain. But when they come to the forefront of our consciousness, it's like a spark. It's like that light bulb going off. It's that epiphany moment. And one of the things that I really knew very well, but had an epiphany around while I was giving a consultation to a high-end bedding company. This bedding company sells bed sets and different beddings that range on, they have kind of a low-end line, which is $5,000 to $15,000 sets. And then their luxury line of bed sets is like $15,000, $20,000 up to $100,000 for a single bed set. And they were getting all this amazing content and promotion and recognition on social media, but it wasn't translating the way they thought it should be into sales and into new clients. And as I was talking to them about the process that someone goes through, the emotional process, the research process, just the buying process of a high-end product like that, it not just dawned on me in a new sense, but really became solidified, and really even more pronounced in my sense and in my psyche that especially now I think this is true for everything, but especially when someone's buying a high ticket item, a high priced item, it is much more driven by relationships than it is some type of advertisement or a singular piece of content. When someone decides to spend $50,000 or $100,000, they're going to put quite a lot of thought into it. That is not an impulse purchase. It is something where either they are getting a recommendation from someone that they really trust, whether that's a friend, a colleague, a coach, something along those lines, or they themselves are doing a heavy amount of research and comparison on their options. Because even someone who's got $200 million, when they're going to spend $50,000, they're going to spend it in the smartest way they possibly can. That's why they probably have so much money, is not because they're making these impulse, rash decisions on their purchasing behavior. Even if comparatively to how much money they have, it might seem like a small amount. They're spending every dollar in a really strategic and smart way. And that's why the content matters a lot less than the relationships, you guys. And this is truly where most of my success has come from this year. Yes, I post great content. I know. Not tooting my own horn or anything. That's just the feedback I get. People like my content, you guys, right? I'm sure you watching this right now, you probably like my content in some format. Maybe it's not the live streams. Maybe it's the lifestyle of an entrepreneur post that I do every week. Maybe it's the motivational advice. Maybe it's just one particular segment of the content that I post. but you're probably watching this right now because you enjoy my content to some degree. That is not why I'm winning at business, at life, at everything that I'm doing. The reason I'm winning or in a place of peakness, of success, is because purely of relationships that I've built and put time and energy into, not just in one particular time frame, but every single day I'm putting energy, I'm putting value, I'm putting effort into forming and growing relationships in a way where I can contribute value, not where I can get something out of it. And yes, oftentimes I do benefit from those relationships. Relationships are give and take, right? It's a win-win situation when each person can bring value to the other person in the relationship. But those relationships are also why I'm so happy. You guys, can you tell? Can you tell I'm having a good time, living a good life? That is because I get to speak with people that make me feel amazing. They make me feel energized. This energy doesn't come from me waking up and just like, boom, Energizer Bunny. I'm not like bouncing out of bed, super crazy, energetic like this. My energy typically actually builds more and more and more throughout the day. And I have to take a period of time at night to actually bring my energy back down before I go to bed. And I think this is for me, a really great way to live my life, because even when the morning is difficult and I have to build up some momentum with my energy, with my happiness, it always leads to more and more and more happiness and energy because of those processes and those routines and those habits that I figured out, oh man, this habit really gets me into that space where I can start compounding that energy, where I can focus on value, where I can get my thoughts out of my own head of woe is me, I'm tired, woe is me, I had a weird dream, woe is me, for whatever reasons. When we wake up and we think woe is me, if you can get yourself out of that headspace and onto a path of positivity, enthusiasm, high energy, it will really carry you throughout the day in a profound and amazing way, where you can continually put that energy into other people and actually feel more full from it, not depleted. And so I would encourage you, if you realize that you're going throughout your day, this is where the real value nugget comes in, guys. If you're someone who is going throughout your day and feeling more and more tired throughout the day, I highly, highly suggest you start auditing your conversations and thinking about, who is it that I'm speaking to? And am I feeling more or less energized after those conversations? And then really start to analyze and think about why that might be. Now, each of you is completely unique and different, and there's going to be all sorts of different reasons why you feel energized or depleted after a conversation. But if you could start centering your conversations, really focusing your conversations around people and around subject matters or values that make you feel energized, you will be able to accomplish way more, not only in a day consistently, but throughout a month, throughout a year. Those little extra bits of effort compound in such a profound way. Now I'm going to take a look at the comments here because I see some coming in, and I really appreciate you guys jumping in and commenting and just putting out your energy into this live stream. I'm going to say hello to Alex. What's good? Andrea, how are you doing today? Oh, BizDev Jeff, what's good? Over in the Philippines. Yeah, Jeff, BizDev Jeff is someone I met probably pretty early on in LinkedIn. Is amazing, guys, overcome some really amazing things, has a great story. Check it out on my YouTube channel. He was actually on my LinkedIn live show, has a great story to share with you guys. So much value. What's up? Wheelie from Brazil, let me know. Would love to get your name pronounced correctly, but really appreciate you stopping in. Samporn Kogan, how's it going from San Francisco? We got, let's see. Dimitri, what's good? Dimitri was also on my LinkedIn live show. Dimitri has a really interesting story. Let me see if I can get the country correct. Let's see. I'm so bad with geography, so apologies. Argentina, is that correct, Dimitri? Where you grew up and then came over to Salt Lake City, Utah. Really interesting story there. Chuck, how's it going? Miles, what's good? And Dr. Stacy, you're newer here. Awesome. Yes, I was on the Ed Up podcast. Appreciate the compliments on my story. My story kind of built itself the way it is out of zero amount of intention up until this last year, you guys. I have an interesting story because I followed my curiosity. I followed my passions. I made some mistakes which makes for an interesting story, right? No one's story is that interesting if it's just like, was successful at this, then successful at this, had zero obstacles or challenges to overcome and face. And I think what makes my story interesting to a lot of people is I had some really profound, large obstacles, from being in a gas explosion to being homeless to making mistakes in previous businesses, to traveling to interesting places and spending money in the wrong places that led to interesting things and stories. So make sure that you're not focused on perfection, because perfection, I can almost promise you, is not actually what you want. Perfection would actually not feel as good as overcoming an obstacle that at the time made you feel like, oh, I need to give up. I can't do this. Life is so hard. But then you built up a strength, you built up a mentality, you built up the courage, the energy to overcome that thing. That is what you really want. That is what makes for a great story. And that's what makes for a great feeling moving forward, honestly, for the rest of your life. Part of where my confidence, my energy, my enthusiasm comes from is like, I've overcome so much already. Any obstacle that comes my way now, that's small peas compared to what I've already done. Now, it might in my head be more difficult, but I know in my heart that it's not. Nothing's more difficult than trying to build a business when you're homeless and you got no one to help you. Now I've got all these amazing people who want to help me, who are available to help me. Anything that comes my way is doable, especially if I put my heart, my energy, my mind, and my soul into it. All right, I'm going to check out a couple of these comments here. Dr. Stacey says, thank you for sharing your stories of learning and growing. It's so important, especially for young people right now. Yeah, absolutely. I want to be out here sharing a story, not just of success, but overcoming failure. And the word failure even, I think, is not true to what it really is in an experience. Failure is only a failure if you let it be one. In reality, it's an amazing learning experience. It's an amazing growth experience, right? When you make a mistake or you do something that doesn't have an ideal outcome. I think that's a better way to describe it. And I'm really someone who, if you get to know me, I'm passionate about words and their power to make us think differently, and kind of switching up phrasing on a terminology that we classically use, but I feel is maybe not describing really what we mean when we say it. So I think when we talk about failure, for the most part, we mean when something didn't have the ideal outcome or the predicted outcome that we set forth to achieve. I think that's a much better way to describe it, because what is failure? What does that even mean, failure? It sounds so final, so complete. And guess what? Life is something that is not over until you're dead, right? And so if you're still living life right now, if you're watching this, you have not experienced failure. You've experienced opportunities to grow. You've experienced circumstances that have taught you things. And I think that's a much, much better way to look at it, where not only are you more encouraged to continue forward facing hard things, are you less ashamed and feeling guilty about maybe decisions you made in the past, but also you have a real sense of gratitude for those things that happened to you that were not ideal at the time. And in fact, in the long run of your story, maybe they were ideal. Maybe that perceived failure actually primed you and got you perfectly ready for the thing that you were next set to achieve. Gopalan, thank you so much. You know, I'm having a really good day, you guys. Normally I have pretty good energy. Today it is phenomenal, fantastic Dragon Ball Z energy. If you don't know what I mean by Dragon Ball Z energy, just watch a little bit of that show. Boom, it's like hair on fire. They go into, I think it's called Super Saiyan mode. My husband's really into Dragon Ball Z, which is why I know anything about it, but I'm feeling pretty Super Saiyan today. Let's see. Nick asks, how is my background achieved? Oh, you mean this background, right? This awesome tapestry. It's a tapestry from Amazon, you guys. That's how I achieved it. I had an idea. I was like, you know what? I'm going to be doing these live shows. I need a recognizable background that matches my vibes. So I said, probably needs to be colorful, maybe a little rainbow. I thought about what are other backgrounds I've seen on podcasts that I really liked. I thought, you know, that brick background that people have sometimes, just the regular brick, that looks pretty cool. Maybe there's some rainbow brick. I went on Google, I went on Amazon, I searched rainbow brick tapestry, and I popped up a bunch of options, and I picked the one that I liked the most. Get ideas, go after them, search the internet, you guys. Google is your friend, and you will find amazing things that you never knew existed if you just take the time to search them online. And that's honestly where a lot of my awareness or ideas or let's say choices have come from, is going, I wonder about this thing. Well, let me look it up. Let me see what options are out there, especially when it comes to technology integrations in my business. You guys, if you're not actively trying to learn new technologies and integrate them into your business, you are missing out on huge opportunities, and someone else is going to surpass you at some point. If you care about the competition that you're facing, if you're in a market that has a lot of competition, technology is going to be one of your greatest tools for outperforming and out delivering value from your competitors, because technology allows you to do more quickly and deliver it with more value. So I highly encourage you to dedicate a certain amount of your time each week to looking at, researching, and learning new technologies, new tools, new softwares. That is something I'm actually really excited about. And you guys, this is coming from someone, I don't like to learn new technologies outside of their application. Like, I don't actually enjoy the process of going like, how does this thing work? Now I have to learn it. But I love the idea of being able to do something more efficiently, more effectively in my business. And the focus on that allows me to actually enjoy the learning process of technology where normally I wouldn't. So like, for example, if you said, download this new app because it's fun, I would probably be like, oh my God, this is not fun. I don't understand how it works. If you're like, download this new app because it's going to allow you to take notes better during your Zoom meetings, I'd be like, oh my God, this is so interesting. Let me download it right now and see how it works, right? It's that totally different attitude of perception based on what you're focusing on, even when doing the same task. Robert says he's 10 times smarter with Google at More Smarter. I love that. Absolutely. Yes, you are, Robert. And you look very smart and spiffy in your lab coat picture there. Very nice. Are you some type, what does OD stand for? Is that some type of a doctorate credential? Let us know. We're curious about your lab coat, Robert. Let me see if there's any other questions up here. Miles says, this is so true. This is why I love working from home. Better control over those I have around me. I can completely curate the environment that works best for me. Yes, Miles, so much yes to that comment. I believe so heavily in environment and how it impacts you. I say this all the time. Human beings are like flowers, and when a flower isn't blooming, you don't blame the flower, you blame the soil, you blame the amount of water it's getting, you blame the amount of sun it's getting, you blame all the environmental factors, and you change those factors first before you would ever consider thinking, oh, that flower doesn't work. There's no such thing. Same with human beings. There is no person who is incapable of things. We are all capable of almost anything given the right conditions, kind of like a petri dish or bacteria. There's so many analogies around this. Things won't grow unless you give them the right ingredients. You won't grow unless you have the right ingredients. Now, some of those ingredients are going to be your office space, are going to be your beautiful background, are going to be if you can see the sunlight coming in through your window in your office. But a lot of those environmental factors are other people, right? What other plants do you have around you in your garden? Are they feeding you nutrients? Are they stealing nutrients from you? That's something to think about. And I think a great point. Thank you for bringing that up, Miles. Let's see. Any more questions up here? Matt, absolutely. Matt Crump, I am definitely going to get back in touch with you in the messages. Feel free to reach out to me as well. I know we were kind of in the middle of a conversation. I think it was around getting on your podcast, which I would be more than happy to. And if you're watching this right now and you need an awesome guest for your podcast, definitely feel free to reach out to me. And I would love to, give some of my time towards bringing value to you and to your audience. Well, we are about at the 20-minute mark, and I told myself that I wanted to try and keep these short, even though I could ramble on forever. I won't lie. I love to talk. It's definitely a gift and a curse at the same time. But I really appreciate all of you guys tuning in. I hope you got a little bit of value out of this. And really just to bring it back to originally what I was talking about, relationships, right? No matter what your business is, no matter who you are, your personal life success, your business life success is going to be highly, highly driven based on your relationships. Not just who those relationships are, but how much energy do you get from having those relationships and putting energy into them? Because there's two types of conversations you can have. You can have a conversation where at the end of it, you feel drained. And you can have a conversation where at the end of it, you feel energized. And the more conversations you can have where at the end of them you feel energized, the more you'll be able to simply accomplish in your days. And the more you can accomplish, the greater your life is going to be, the greater you're going to feel about it. So I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I hope to see you back again tomorrow. And again, please feel free to reach out to me if you need someone to talk to, if you need support, if you're curious about my business and what services I offer around social media, marketing, branding, leadership coaching. It's not just me and my business, you guys. I have a partner. His name's Jesse Johnson, and he really specializes in organizational leadership, finances, budgeting, and a lot of other really interesting areas that are not my strongest suit. I'm certainly getting stronger and stronger by working with him, but he has a real talent for it, and I would not be partnered up with him if he didn't have an incredible talent for those things. So feel free to reach out to me. If I personally can't help you, I can almost guarantee that I know someone who can and will and wants to. So have a great night, guys, and see you again tomorrow.